I told my father's new wife why he abandoned me at birth. Because he blamed me for my mother's death. He told you we just lost touch during my teenage years, I asked, watching my father's new wife. Elena's face carefully. She nodded, stirring her coffee. He said, you two had some disagreements when you were younger, then you went to college, and life happened. Elena had insisted on meeting me, her hopeful smile suggesting she believed she could heal whatever trivial father-daughter rift existed. My father sat rigid beside her, eyes fixed on the table between us. This was the closest we'd been in a decade. I was born on the 16th of April 25 years ago. My mother died that same day from complications during childbirth. I've no memories of her, only a handful of photos my aunt kept for me, and stories from relatives who grew quiet whenever my father entered the room. What I do remember with perfect clarity is my 6th birthday. My aunt had organized a small party and my father appeared unexpectedly. I was ecstatic, rushing toward him with a crayon drawing I'd made specially for him. He looked at it, then at me, his eyes cold. You have her eyes, he said. The same eyes that closed forever because you took her from me. That was the first time he told me directly that I had killed my mother. It wouldn't be the last. For years I existed in his periphery, raised by my aunt while he sent monthly checks but never birthday cards. At family gatherings, he would physically turn away when I approached. When I was 12, I overheard him tell my grandmother that looking at me was like staring at the weapon that murdered the love of his life. I spent my adolescence in therapy, terrified I was inherently evil. I'd wake from nightmares where my tiny newborn hands were covered in blood. I prayed in church, begging forgiveness for a crime I committed simply by being born after my high school graduation. Where he stood at the very back and left before I could reach him, he told me plainly, don't contact me again. Now sitting across from Elena, I saw her genuine confusion. She believed she had married a man who had simply drifted apart from his daughter, not one who had systematically blamed a child for an uncontrollable tragedy. Elena, I said quietly, my father has never been in my life. My aunt raised me from the day I was born because he couldn't bear to look at me. He blamed me, a newborn baby, for my mother's death during childbirth. The color drained from her face. He told me repeatedly throughout my childhood that I had killed her. At 8 years old, I was convinced I was going to hell because of what he said I'd done. My father's knuckles whitened as he gripped his coffee mug. That's enough, he hissed. No, it's not, I continued, years of suppressed words finally finding voice. You told her we just lost touch. You never touched me at all. You never held me. Not once. Elena's eyes filled with tears as she looked between us. You don't know what it was like, my father finally spoke, his voice breaking, losing her. And you don't know what it's like being born into grief and blame, I replied, being a child whose father wished she had never existed. 3 days later, my grandmother called. What have you done? She demanded. Elena has moved out. Your father is devastated. I told the truth, I said simply. He was finally happy, she insisted. This could have been your chance to have a relationship with him. Sometimes bridges need to be built on whatever ground is available, she sighed. Maybe she's right. Maybe I should have protected his marriage by maintaining his fiction. But after 25 years of carrying the weight of his blame, I couldn't bear the weight of his lies too. Some say truth is always the right choice. Others say timing matters more than honesty. All I know is that for the first time in my life, I am not the one feeling ashamed of who I am and what happened the day I was born. That has to count for something.